Hi, good afternoon from Marianna Wow Women Award for another episode of Wow Voices Speak Volumes. And today we are going to have a fantastic appointment with Paul Speirs. Hi, Paul. How are you doing?
Hello, Mariana. I'm doing very well, and thank you for inviting me on. I feel very humbled and privileged to be here.
No, I love it. I love this appointment, and I really look forward to talk about you, what you do, and what's happening with you with a Wow Festival for our Sprint Interaction session for the Wow Festival Spring Edition. So I would like Paul to introduce you from your voice because as I said, wow voices speak volumes. So to us, you are wow voice, and definitely you are part of the Wow Festival as a male expert. And this year we're going to stretch and the possibility for women to talk and work with men as well. So I'm very happy to start this new session with gentlemen like yourself and share with us what you do. And actually, what is fantastic about what you do, you have a partner which is a woman, haven't you?
I do, yes. There are two of us, Improv Inc, myself and Victoria Hogg.
Yeah. So let's start then saying, who are you and what do you do, Paul?
I will. I want to pick up on your the Women of Worth Festival, and I'm one of the few male people invited along. I'm intimidated almost by that, but that's a good thing, right? Because actually that is one of the topics that we might tackle at the Women of Worth Festival. But let me explain a little bit more. Who am I? So I help small business owners reveal what their real niche offer is, help them identify who their ideal client can be, and then create that connection that you need between your service offer, your niche, and what the ideal client really needs. So to create that connectivity. And we do this through the modality of what we call applied improvisation. So just to explain what that is,
Yeah.
I think improvisation can be found in two forms. There's the one that we probably all know, which is improv to entertain, improv for comedy. So maybe some TV shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway, where it's a fun show and we're all entertained by the players making things up on stage. That's improvisation to entertain. But there's also improvisation to solve. This is where you're applying improvisation techniques into your work life. And the techniques you use for that are the very same techniques that they use in theatrical improv to entertain, comedy improv. The same techniques, but you're just applying them to the business world.
I love it. I love it because as people following Wow know that we are the platform for to help women in business with their marketing. And to us, when we talk about marketing, majority of people know that I say that marketing is really connection. So everybody's talking about marketing, thinking, okay, is a way how to reach your audience, sell, and everything, which is correct, but marketing is really from the start to finish is a connection. And when you talk about improvisation, talking about the connection, how to be in connection with others, this is very fascinating to me because in marketing, when I started Wow, before I was starting Wow, actually, being a marketing consultant, the struggle for women in business was the implementation of the marketing plan because they were not connected with themselves. So with the work I'm starting doing with Wow was a connection inside out. So in order to help them to be able to go out there, connect, is starting with themselves. So I really love now to know more about improvisation, how then the modality of improvisation is helping them to connect with themselves and then to connect with target audience.
Yeah, this is why I began with the word intimidation. That's my feeling to walk into the Festival of Wow, and there are all of these female business owners. It's like a role reversal, and I mean that in the kindest way. The one of the things that improv does is it helps you gain insights on yourself, self-awareness. because when you're doing improv, you have to be aware of everything around you, because you are in the moment. You have to be alive to everything going on around you, but then you have to react to that moment as yourself. And so the awareness is not just of what's going on around you, but how can you bring yourself into that environment as well? So you have to be very self-aware. And of course, when we are self-aware, the thing that's always cropping up is your inner critic that's always like guarding you against saying the wrong thing, or guarding you against opening up too much of your personality in case it's being judged, because nobody likes being judged, do they? This feedback, this negative judgment. So we become a bit guarded, and we lock in our inhibitions. So improv actually allows you to throw away those inhibitions and be more of yourself, because you're more alive and in the moment, and you don't have time to think about those inner critics and those judgments, because you're doing it in the moment. And improv really helps you kind of come to terms with the idea that it's okay to be your authentic self. In fact, it's even better when you are, because improv doesn't work if you're not.
Yeah. And also what I'm fascinated about what you do is the fact that when we talk about marketing, everything is planned. If we think about, so you have to have a strategy, you have the content, the implementation, which is following a strategy and a plan that you have forehead. By the way, improv is something that is helping to perform when is off the script. And the majority of people, I think they are too much attached to their script. Actually, they are not able to perform in the way where, unless it's following what they already prepared in their mind. Instead, when you, because life has got so many, things that you can't calculate, and the business is the same. And even in the presentation, sometimes there are so many times where something is happening. It could be someone that is not in a good mood, whatever. There are so many variances. So how can you help them? So how can you help leaders or business owners, people that are in business, through improvisation? When you say that's self-aware, but actually what are the tips that they can rely on in order to make sure that they are not screwed up when something's going wrong?
I suppose, what do we say? So one of the other things I do is I do a bit of stand-up comedy. And one of the self-awareness things that you have to have with stand-up comedy is to be able to read the room. So we know what that means, right? Is to pick up the vibe in the room. What's the mood in the room? And then go with that, because you want to control the energy as much as you can. And if the energy is going a bit down, you'll go with it. Or if your energy is going down, you'll take the room with you. If a comedian is on stage and they say some jokes and no one's laughing, and the comedian loses their confidence, the room will see it, and they will start to sympathize with you a little bit, or they might heckle you and say, "Get off!" But either way, everybody's going down the same drain. So you have to be mindful that you don't want that to happen. So you have to, when you see these low moments, you just got to ride through it. It's not even necessarily that your material is wrong, your jokes are wrong, or if you're in a business setting, that your content is wrong. There might be people in the room, as you kind of alluded to before, that have brought their own baggage into the room because they've got other things going on in their head. Who knows what's going on in everybody's personal life or work life? The moment they walked in that door, perhaps they received a phone call with a bad message, or they just remembered that they needed to do something. They've left the oven on, or so. Whatever it is, those things are not you can't own those problems. So you have to almost be aware that they're not going to impact on me. I'm the one that's creating the energy here. And if you bring your best energy, then that can help you get through it. Not to own the mood of the room, but to be there to change and control the mood of the room. It's not an easy thing to do. That's one of the beginning steps of self-awareness, when you can start to be aware of what's going on and then go, well, actually, not all of it is my problem, but I'm going to deal with it in this way.
Now, I'm fascinated also about the fact that we talk about improvisation, and to me is a way how you can get across as authentic. But you're talking about also some rules that you're saying that there are way how you have to apply in order to perform properly. So, what is the limit between being authentic through improvisation and then following the rules, but you are not losing your authenticity?
Yeah. Well, there are many core skills that you need. One of them is listening. Now, listening means that you have to listen to what's being said in the room so that you can react in a way that is congruent with the conversation. This is something you see quite often. I guess we're all guilty of this, right?
Yeah.
When you're in a business setting or even in a conversation with friends, in a social setting, people are often thinking about what they're going to say next, and they're not listening to the conversation, and they're just thinking, how can I crowbar in the thing that I want to say? It's about me. I've got something to say, and it's not. The conversation's moved on a little bit, and maybe your thing's not so relevant now because you've not been listening. Whereas actually, if you do listen, and you listen more intently and with purpose, listen with purpose, then you give yourself more options of how you can contribute. In fact, we kind of like say this in improv, that if you listen carefully, you can listen with the intention of having your mind changed. Not intention, maybe the possibility of having your mind changed. Now, imagine going into a conversation with that mindset where, hey, I'm open to ideas. Let's listen. Let's have the ideas, give them room to breathe, and we'll see where these ideas go. And you mentioned you can never plan your life, right? Our whole lives are improvised because we've taken little steps along the way that lead us in different directions. And there are so many directions our lives can go in. You could never plan for it. And it's the same with, in business conversations, that if you just give things a bit of room to breathe. And I'll just pause there so that you can come in, but I want to sort of follow that up. What would you do next once you've explored some ideas?
Yeah. When did you start then with this idea to help entrepreneurs and business owners through the modality of improvisation in order to connect more with their target audience? Also within their team, which is, I guess, wherever there is connection, improvisation is important to help them to get that connection. So when did this idea in your head or Victoria head, and then how you put the two together?
Yeah, well, it began as with anything, right? You can't plan this. You could never envisage this is how things work out. It was about 3 years ago, for a birthday present, I was bought a course, an evening class of how to introduction to comedy. That's what it was. So I went along to this evening course at the local theatre just to have a laugh, really, and find out what comedy is, because I like a laugh. I like to have a laugh at work. I want to be clear here, actually. Laughter, comedy at work is like a quadruple sword. You've got to treat comedy at work really carefully. It can work for you or against you. Maybe you might touch on that later. But I went along to this comedy course, and the comedy coach, she's asked the whole group, she asked me this question. So why are you here? And it made me think, yeah, why am I here? For laughs? Is it for laughs? Have I just come here to learn how to do comedy? And then I thought about it a bit more deeply, and this really became an important question for me. Why do I want to learn about comedy? And it struck me that I was using comedy not always in a good way in my working life, that quadruple-edged sword, more than a double-edged sword. And I wanted to learn how to harness comedy for, to better frame me. That's why I was there. And suddenly I had purpose of why I was doing comedy. Anyway, fast forward 2 or 3 more courses, and I got into improvisation, which is an element of comedy. And it struck me, and I think I'm the first person on earth that had this idea, right? It struck me, improvisation is it's not just making it up, it's a skill, and it's a skill that can be used in our lives. And then I thought, well, even business lives, because how many meetings have we been in when ideas are just crushed and creativity is just thrown out the window or trodden on and broken to pieces because of the way the hierarchy run meetings, always putting excuses in the way of progress. And I thought we could break this. And so I phoned up this lady and asked her and said, hey, I got this great idea of taking improv to corporates, to small business owners. What do you reckon? And she said, I've been doing it 12 years already.
Wow.
And this person I phoned up was Victoria Hogg, who's now my business partner. She was also my first comedy coach. So we kind of like, the universe sort of pulled us together, and then we created Improv Inc, which is now serving that corporate small business owner sector, to show them how improvisation can really enhance their overall business skills.
I love it. Love the story behind it. But before that, then what is your background, Paul?
I'm an engineer. So for the last 30 years, I've been working in the corporate sector as an engineer, working for engineering consultancies and management consultancies in the transport sector. So I've actually got, you say you can't plot your life, right? I forecast the future in transport planning. So I forecast future needs for transport infrastructure, how to make sure things don't go over capacity and people continue to travel without delays and so on. So I help plan all of that into the future with my crystal ball. But it was this working in the corporate sector that has given me the experience firsthand of how sometimes toxic business can be if it's not conducted with the right skills. And improvisation is one of those skills that really breaks open better collaboration, communication, creativity, all of those things. And so I've been drawing on my 30 years experience on how we can best serve and fix some of these problems.
Do you think the majority of corporations think the more serious they are, the more valuable they are? Have you ever thought about that? They are thinking.
How do you mean? How do you mean?
Yeah, the fact that if they're serious, they are corporates, so they have to come across with a reliable people or reliable brand. They are always on a mission. So I think this is what I see. Corporate sometimes can be very boring unless there is a brand where instead is engaging is the archetype, the brand archetype could be the fun, the lover, so is more engaging. But I see, normally speaking, people when they are in the corporate world too serious. They take themselves too serious. But what do you think? I don't know. Is it just a question as a curiosity?
Yeah,
Experience?
that's a really good question. A good observation as well. Of course, the corporate sector, large corporate organizations are following their own formula for success, and they're quite often organized in hierarchies that you go through the grades, and you have to reach a level of professional pedigree, if you like, to go through each of the grades and get your way up to manager and partner and director and all of these sorts of things. So you kind of got to fit the bill. You got to wear the suit properly. And often when you're following these formulaic ways of progressing through your career, it does stifle a lot of the individual creativity. And we have to remember as well, in the corporate sector, they're in there for business, and so they have to juggle business success, the financial bottom line, and also their reputation of getting things done. And so they're following this is the way we've always done it, so this is the way we'll always do it kind of mantra. And it's really hard to change that quickly because there's such big structures. Of course, a small business person can be a lot more agile in their thinking. What we're finding with improvisation is it just allows the people within those systems, within their circle of influence, to just change a few of their habits, because that's what improv is. It's habits, actually. You're just changing the way you behave and communicate with people. Just small little shifts in the way you frame things can mean an awful lot in the way your sphere of influence can work and collaborate together. So you can't change the whole system, but you can start to change from within your sphere of influence, wherever you are. But it's when you have a hierarchy, improv, I've got my arms like this because you've got like the big bosses up here and the juniors down here, and the improv can level out because you get everybody shows a different kind of respect, and it's got nothing to do with grade or experience. It's about how can each and everybody's contribution be seen, be heard, be given the gift of space to breathe, and then when you get that, you level up the hierarchies because everybody feels a bit more valuable in what they do. And when you have that feeling of being more valuable within the whole, your passion for your work changes as well.
Absolutely.
When your passion changes, your energy is different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you said one word which struck my attention, of course, professionalism, when you say being professional. But I think the challenge of small business owners, so small businesses and the owners of the small businesses or solopreneurs, that they can have fear of comedy, having been humorous, because they are not taken seriously. What is your experience in this respect?
Yeah. Let's come on to that quadruple sword then, shall we? So comedy is a great icebreaker. Yeah. If you have a little bit of humor to a conversation, it can help break ice. Think of networking events or small meetings. If you've got a little quip you can throw in, it can help break the ice. That's a good thing. Comedy can also be used as a weapon if you use it in the wrong way. Bring back the hierarchies if you like. Comedy, if you use it the wrong way, you can start to you can start to punch down. And that means sarcasm is a good example of punching down, where you're just belittling somebody else's thoughts or behaviors or their appearance for a laugh. And we all know sarcasm and we all use it in our close circles, but when you use it in a business setting, it can undermine you. It can, oh, here comes all we get out of this person is put downs. You're just putting someone down all the time, and you might get one or two people laugh with you, but generally you're undermining your own professionalism if that's the only humor you can bring, sarcasm. So, and then there's clowning around. You can clown around. Clowning, by the way, is a skill if you're a professional clown. I'd like to be a professional clown. But if you're clowning around too much and having too much fun, maybe like pranks, putting, I don't know, gone off milk in someone's coffee. It's a prank. It's clowning around. You get known. You're not doing anything harmful, but you'll get known as you're just a bit of a clown. And that can put a ceiling on how far you're going to go because there's a level of trust. How can you clown around and build your reputation at the same time? So you have to learn when clowning is a good idea and when actually is going to go against you. And as you go through your career, you're not going to clown. It's not smart to clown around at the wrong time because people will make an opinion of you and it will stick. That can stop your progression. And then, of course, there's humor to engage. Which is a bit more than icebreaking. Icebreaking can break the atmosphere, but humor to engage. And this is the one we really want, where you can involve everybody. And if you can crack that, then, and that's a real tough one. We'll come back to this, inhibitions, losing your inhibitions or being a bit intimidated because people are scared to use humor in that way in case it doesn't work. And then they get judged for those other reasons that I just said. So what improv does is it allows you, even improv to solve, applied improvisation, it allows you to experience being funny in a professional setting of, like an improvisation workshop. It shows you how you can be humorous and funny with people around you, and it's not harming anybody. It's just bringing a kind of shared joy. And when you have that experience of, wow, I made a room full of people laugh and I didn't think I was funny, that just helps you breed a new confidence, a new confidence in your authentic self to use humor in more of your working life.
Yeah, because myself, being working with women in business, I have seen through all these years, since WOW, where I'm focusing just on women, we are, I've said, sometimes too serious. So women, we take ourselves too seriously, maybe because we want to prove others we know our stuff, we are competent, we have expertise, we have the experience to serve that. But with WOW, when I met you first time, I said, wow, this is great what you do, because I think we need to bring to the business world something which is more, fun, in the sense that it's giving you the energy from inside out in a light way, because we know there are so many problems in business we need to face, and we need to make sure that the client is happy, we are happy from our end, making making the business sustainable, so financially sustainable, is hard on a daily basis. If we are not enjoying ourselves, our business, bringing fun for ourselves, and sharing this energy with our clients, and actually having the fun helping to feed back with the energy of our clients, that is not going to go nowhere further. It's like in a relationship. At the end of the day, you engage with your partner, you like the person, there is the engagement, and then you get married. But if everything dies after that engagement and there is not joy and fun, maybe it's no longer lasting relationship. So what would be in the tip that you would suggest for a relationship, like, for example, or in a team, so whether the leaders in the team or the client with the business owner, in order to have the fun, but with the respect, and the same time each other, nurturing each other with this kind of fun or humor that is through improvisation, but in the way that is professional, but benefit each other long term.
I mean, if it is a small business, this is perhaps easier to see how it can manifest itself. In a small business, what you want from your team, your employees, your colleagues, is everybody pulling in the same direction and everybody knowing their value within that organization. And I'll come back to that passion thing, that leveling up, where everybody has a kind of an opportunity to put their ideas on the table for that creativity, and that every idea is respected. Every great idea has come from a small idea. Nobody comes up with a great idea first. Everything comes from some tiny idea, sometimes just some change in direction or change in thought process that allows you to open up a new avenue of thinking. So we must remember that. But if everybody in the business, whatever experience they have, feels they can contribute in this way, then they're going to contribute more. And if they and when they contribute more, you're going to get more ideas. They're going to work out what their role is in the company. They'll feel appreciated. They'll feel rewarded when their contributions are accepted. And that creates that passion. And when you have passion, it just opens up so many more emotions, humor being one of them, because you're giving the whole group permission to be themselves. And we're all funny, by the way. I've not done an improv exercise ever where people have not been funny within themselves. And So you create an environment through all of these techniques that just allow people to be more open. And when people are more open, humor just comes. It's the most natural thing for people to
Mhm.
be funny in the moment. We're all funny, and that's what some of our activities do when we run our workshops, is it reveals the humor from within that people didn't even know they had, and gives them confidence. Hey, I could be like this more. And it's also accepting as well, because if you've got a whole business organization doing the activities together, they share the experience and they can see the value and the contribution that everybody is making in those moments.
Mm. Yeah. So now we have two announcements because, there are, first of all, I would like to tell the audience that, of course, you and Victoria, you are going to be part of our spring edition of Wow Festival with your workshop. And I would like to know more about it, what is in the pipeline, what you're going to do with us. But before that, I really would like to share what is your daily appointment, guys, what you do every week, which is something that is very exciting me. And sometimes I miss it, and I'm so upset when I can't make it. But I would like you to share what you do every Tuesday.
Yeah, every Tuesday morning at 9:30, we have the improv breakfast. And it's only 25 minutes long. It's a free online Zoom call. And we generally take a topic of the week and we break it down, discuss it a bit. And usually we play an activity as well with the people on the call that just explore that topic in a bit more detail and allows that topic to be understood through a different lens, through the lens of improvisation. And the topics that we do each week generally are fed by our weekly newsletter that goes out on a Friday. And we draw from that newsletter, which is mostly just observations about life around us and how improvisation is involved in those things. And yeah, the improv breakfast every Tuesday at 9:30. Everyone is welcome to come along. It's free, and it's just, yeah, to shine a light on improvisation and how it can affect all of us and how we can use it to great effect as well.
And how can we subscribe your newsletter? Is free or?
It's free. Yeah, you can subscribe through our website.
Mhm.
You're going to share details of these,
Yeah, I
I
can
think.
do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
on the comment.
So
Yeah.
you can subscribe to our newsletter. It's called, so our company is called Improv Inc, as in incorporated.
Mhm.
Our newsletter is called Improv Inc, as in ink that you write with, that
Mhm.
flows out of a pen. Clever, huh?
Very
So
clever.
the newsletter, it goes out every week,
Mhm.
and the newsletter includes invitations to the improv breakfast as well. We held one this morning, don't you know?
And what was it about? Can I know? Can you share?
Yeah, this morning was about clearing the clutter. So
Hmm.
not overthinking, basically. Sometimes it comes back to that listening, oh, what am I going to say next? What am I going to say next? And you get stuck in your head because you're thinking too hard about
Mhm.
what you're going to say next, that you're not really in the moment anymore. So
Mhm.
it's to remove that, get comfortable with it. It's okay to not overthink things. Be more simple. Get rid of all the clutter in your head while you're in the
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah. So how then you can help businesses? So you have a program, or how do you help women and men that they are running their own business in order to be more authentic and having a free, lifestyle as leaders? How can you help them?
Yeah, so like I was saying a bit earlier on, we run one-day workshops that help business owners reveal what their niche is, because often business owners don't really know what their niche offer is. They think they know, but actually it might not be the real niche. So we help uncover where their true passion really is, because when you're
Mhm.
passionate about something, you believe in it. When you believe in something, you can convince others of it as well.
Mhm.
That's your niche. And when we also then help in this workshop as well, help identify who the ideal client is. Now, your ideal client needs to have a problem that your niche can solve. and often businesses don't really understand why a client might need their niche. So it's really stepping into the shoes of the customer, of your ideal client, and spinning things around 180 degrees, and learning and feeling what, how to be empathetic with their position, so that your niche can be aligned with their problem. And the third thing that we really focus on in the workshop is then connecting the two, so that you can align. And that connection is communication as well, and how to project yourself in those moments of building up that connection with a new client or a new prospect, so that you can align your passion. Because I guarantee, if your passion, what you offer, matches their passion and their need for that in their business, you're going to get that alignment. You're
Absolutely.
going to get that connection. And we do that. It's called the Seize the Niche is our workshop, our one-day workshop. Seize the Niche.
Seize the niche. I love it. And but is a workshop that is helping people to understand a little bit more how you can help, or there is then on top of that full program that you can support them with?
Yeah, there is. So those 3 areas I described: niche, ideal client, connection. There's a couple of others as well. They all sit in something that we call the Business Beacon Creator. It's a much larger program, and that I mentioned before. Improvisation is a habit. There are so many things that, improvisation, if you make them a habit and make them natural, but it takes time to reinforce some of those habits and make them stick. And so the Beyond the Seize the Niche is the program that allows you to reinforce and revisit those habits, and of course learn more habits as well, as your business needs it, as you need it, so that you build up a bigger library of improvisation techniques for more of your business needs.
Yeah. So on the 24th of May, in the occasion of our Wow Festival Spring Edition with Victoria. So what are we going to expect from you? Is a workshop. I remember, I recall, telling the audience is 45 minutes workshop with you. So what are they expecting from you?
Right. Well, I mean, I don't want come back to intimidation again. Don't be intimidated. No. But improvisation is a doing thing. It's kinesthetic. This means learning by doing. This is not sitting and watching. This is getting up and doing, because the more you do, the more comfortable you get with being uncomfortable, if I can say it like that. And so we will introduce some activities that allow people to learn some very basic but fundamental improvisation techniques, have fun doing it, share that experience, and it basically becomes a taster for, wow, what could this be if I delved into it in a bit more, and just to basically give a greater appreciation. But it most certainly is doing. And if I could just say, it's like showing how to be funny with authority. Which is definitely something we could all do with, to use funny to your advantage, and be comfortable that you can be funny with authority.
Yeah, because I think also what you're doing is great, because we are living always under the fear. So we react to fear. What I mean by that is everything out there is uncertain. Most of the things are uncertain. There is a fear of losing a job, fear of losing your partner, the house, every fear. So we are always reacting to life. And I think the fun, the improvisation, the element of humor, instead attracting things instead of us running away from things. And I think is really the nice way how we starting, to attract through our energy, the right energy, instead of us, running away from the wrong energy. Because since COVID, we have now our own lives again and everything, but I think we are more scared on the fact, because there are so many elements of uncertainty, and business is one of those. And if we can rely on our business that is giving us the strength and the possibility to grow, if we are not able to attract the right energies at the same time, we are not able to grow. And this is really, I think, the right moment to try to, instead of running away from fear, be attracted by fun and the good humor and the right energy. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, improvisation, it does ask you to step into that fear a little bit because of the unknown, because you don't know what you're going to say next, because it's not scripted.
Yeah.
But also improvisation teaches you as well not to be gung-ho, you know, the complete opposite of fear, and just like go marching in blind to something, because that's not always a recipe for success, is it? Going in gung-ho. It also teaches you that you don't have to come in with a thousand ideas or even the best ideas. You know, even the smallest idea, the smallest contribution can lead to something else. So you don't have to own all of the ideas and take responsibility for everything. So because improvisation is a collaboration, so a teamwork. And so you learn that actually, what's the worst that could happen, really? And so it's a different way of embracing fear. And improv just trains you to, the fear never goes away. You know, if it goes away, then you're not alive. Fear is there in everything. But it's learning to be comfortable with that and learning that actually it's not going to harm me. How many times have you done something and you've gone afterwards, well, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Yeah, exactly. Because we push so much on ourselves, on our performance, and actually we realize that it's not about our performance, it's how we make people feel, and being just ourselves. That is really the key.
Yeah.
So, Paul, it was lovely talking to you. I have so many questions, but it'll be for another time, and definitely.
Yeah, save them for the wow.
Exactly. We'll say for a while. So I will invite you on the 24th of May at King's Cross, St. Pancras in London from 9:30 to 5:30. You and Victoria Hogg will be also in our panel talking about confidence. So definitely there are going to be some questions about the confidence through improvisation. And we look forward to have the workshop afterwards with you both in order to, as you said, the kinesthetics, starting implementing improvisation. So definitely it's going to be fantastic.
Really looking forward to it.
My pleasure. All right. Thank you very much, Paul, and see you soon. Be in touch.
Yeah.
You take care.
Thank you, Mariana.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I will put in the comment box the links to be in touch with Paul, and definitely for the registration form for you to join us on the 24th of May. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Ciao, Paul. Bye. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.